Sitting in a power chair like this all day can be pretty rough. That's why in order to deal with sitting in a power chair like this all day, you have to be positive, have a positive attitude, because if not, you would die real quick. Sitting in a power chair like this all the time, knowing that you never will be able to get up again, other than someone lifting you up, it can be pretty much frustrating. But having that positive attitude will help you to eliminate much of that frustration. So it's not going to be easy. As someone says, it's easy said than done, being in a power chair all day or can't walk. So we need to get that positive attitude and try to do things to even help others so that they too can get up on their feet as far as their attitude is concerned. So the next time that you say you are having a problem, just because maybe you lost a job or you just had a little sniffle or cold, think about it. If you lost your job because you've gotten sick and your sickness is carrying you down and down, you think about it when you say, I lost my job, or I feel bad today because of sniffles. It's not bad until it gets worse. In this case, it's worse, but I'm able to deal with it because of my scripture teachings, as well as trying to develop a positive attitude as much as possible. This is Paul, and I'll talk with you later.